Hello. Um, this is my fourth video in a series of 4 videos about this subject, and I feel stress and as if something is working against me. But I tried to make this video anyway, and it is about the last card. King of Galleys. And this symbol of the bull. I want to stop the video. I was thinking perhaps this has to do with bully. And I feel worked against by a powerful water element of emotions. And it is very emotional. And I said earlier about emotions, we have to be careful. I like to talk about the paranormal, like the entities and their spirits. Some are happy, some are angry. And I feel today not large of cooperations, and there's friction about certain subjects. Like everything is normal until you get into the media. And all of a sudden all people making trouble about subject. But in private sphere, and then it is normal and never a problem. So I was thinking, let's do a reading to try to figure out more about this subject. What is a secret? Since I watched my other videos and I realized I'm not going to reveal right now what the subject could be about, but I like to have more insight. I was very tired and I still want to do this last video in this series of 4 about this subject. That I think some are not really happy with it, that I do this subject. And I think there's much more behind it, but I don't do it all of a sudden out of no reason. And there's one thing more I'd like to mention when it is about, and I could not find the word, but it's about when people on free will withdraw from society, start to live alone, away from other people on free will. It seemed to me that other people have shame if you talk about it, like they do positive as commercials for everything for to be on the television and certain manners. And if you don't act that way, they don't want to be seen with you. And I thought about the difference between rich and poor. Like, some poor don't mind to be poor and do not want to live in high society and living up to high standards or being perfect before like seen on television or behind cameras. Some really do not like it. Poor is a choice. Not being famous is a choice. Like, let me give you an example. If you imagine that somebody would seek people to making famous, they don't get everybody because not everybody wants it. So it's not about a good voice or pretty, because many reject, and they have to seek until they find people in the business who want it or say yes to it, and they playing games with those people like, hey girl, if you don't, I have a billion other girls, and they don't, and they simply do not have that option, because many reject their approach, and it makes them also angry. So if you have words like in the news spread in the media, like words like brothels, hookers, child industry, porn industry, that's not what done. It is about to seek people for fame and then train those people, so they're holding a selection. And the stranger thing is if they start talking about God's selection, so you get trained in the church that you keep your manners and your virtues, and then later you can have that perfect attitude on television, thinking low of others, and you live in your high standards. And if you refuse, like in your own family, like you refuse, you do not know the unknown people, the unfamous. Like if you see the famous, they might have people in their families who are unfamous and don't want it. And you get on the lowest ladder, the people who ain't ambitious, and they're surrounded by celebrities who might be famous on high ladder standards. And you don't see all these things on television. So I say to you, they create circumstances in the media. You ain't gonna find out everything. Like the mental institution is created like the prison. I can put people behind bars and take them out of society. They don't want to be seen by those people in the media. They don't want them to be known within those families who like to live up high standards in the ambition of this industry. And that's way that we get rich and poor in the same families, like the poor ain't supported by the rich family members, because they live separated, because those who don't want it run for their lives, they're going away. And they like to leave, come what may, because they get trained for that business, and they're running. So they torture those people like given like a mental institution, and you learn like you are tortured, and they show to you the television, and they're forcing you watching television or listen to the radio, to music, like you have to be like that, all that you like to have that also. You must want a rich house so you can afford, and all of a sudden money is not at all a problem. And so people like me have had a lot of money and crying and getting sick of the money and throwing the money out. You know, they're hating us. We're not poor. We're living among the rich. We are trained. And so to me, that I managed to stay out is proud. And if they did not know me, they had no problem with me. But since they do know me, they have a problem with me. And our problems with horoscopes, they knew my horoscope, but they did not completely knew my horoscope. So they say, for example, what person can become famous or rich? And we look at your horoscope, and like, if that's not a good horoscope, they say, not you. And I was an astrologer thinking, wow, they slosh the gold over this earth that way. You're not special with a certain horoscope. So that made me think, like, famous ambition is as a symbol. I said, imagine I'm the highest, no matter whatever that means. And I want to be low, then I have all the freedom to do that. And you find me among the poor. It could be. Just imagine. Become a story writer. Start to use your fantasy. Don't believe the media. The stories about poor or rich. And those in the media, the rich standards are only rich because you have to look good on the camera, behind the camera, on television, and have your manners. If you are like me, you climb mountains, you go into you climb trees, you go into the mountain, you swim in the rivers. You ain't behind the camera with your manners. You cannot even handle church and sit there for hours and hours and then bend on your knees till your knees hurt. And they're saying, you have demons. I don't mind they say I have demons. So the government said there's a democracy and I have a right of my opinion. More I don't want. Because the government's problem in the land, what will it do with the poor? The rich really want to kill all the poor who are in their own family. And calling those people not wanters, you have not the will to want in it what they want. And so they started to create the name of the rebellion. So I started to think about the church and the story about Jesus Christ and I on purpose sending the message about holier than the holies than the holies. And they're doing it with the blue heaven and the blue sky, and they're doing it non-stop. And I'm seeking the whole YouTube for this blue heavenly music, and there's nothing to be found. I have this music in my head, all those angels sing. And so if they're offering me music, I said that's the music I'm going to make. But you don't get me other music make. That's the only one allowed in the industry. The only music you hear on the television, on the radio, in the media. I said, as an innocent child, I have my dream, my soul, my own innocence. And I'll remain glued to that promise till the end. No matter how much they torture me, to come along with what they call a motorization. I said to them, there will be newborn babies thinking they're more high and quiet than I am in this new motorization. They think they're more rich, they think they're better, and I have always seen them in my own generation. I say, you've seen them in the old generation, seen them in the new generation. You will always have such people. Like how we treated the old generation, how the old generation treated us. There's no difference every generation. And now I like to do research for this last king of galleys, like water element, because I'm so interested in it, what this bull is, because the bull is a symbol in some religions that's holy, and I have no knowledge about it. And so what has that got to do with it? In my opinion, the whole reading is about a lot about America, but in combination with native Indians. And I think there's a lot of friction about that subject because there ain't no breakthrough and they could not find the reason. Do Americans feel guilty or not guilty or like to be wrong? There's no subject to be found about in it, and this is the most forbidden subject. You go on land, you want the land, but you don't talk about in it. Not one word, and if we ask an explanation, we get no explanation. So I'm curious what this bull is all about. What is a lie in this world, and what is the truth? I'm also curious with, I seek no explanations, but what they call paranormal or spiritual. How is the spiritual world together with the people? Because I think there is a connection between the people and spirituality. And I wonder if everything is possible. Like if you have 5 different Christianities, Will God or Jesus say 5 times the same thing? Or in every Christianity say something else? And is that possible? So I'm so interested in that subject. Is the law God's will? And what is God's will and what is our will? What is intuition? There's still no answer. So we do still our research because we like to give an explanation, because a lot in high circles will pretend and say a lot of things that are confusion because they like to threaten people, making people afraid. But the spiritual world itself is non-aggressive. So I think that they are afraid, like for others, and protect themselves. Like for an example, how many who call themselves witches and are afraid of other witches? Like I see people support people, as I think, just out of fear, because they believe the other one has powers. Like if we mention the word Christians, to some they say, let's fight Christians. Does this fight exist? Because there's only one soul. If you fight against spirit or a soul, don't you fight against yourself? Can we have different religions? Can we have different ways of explanation? Or is there something in common with all people and absolute no difference, but are they afraid? And as young children, they were so threatened that they became so afraid that it is right now called psychologically a mental disease, like paranoia. Actually, if they said the truth, they say those children are made afraid. I was one of the few free children. Most people were threatened much more than I did. And I actually see sometimes with some subjects, people shrink, or all of a sudden panic, or lose calm and get an anxiety. And I know they have undergo something in their life that I did not, that is too many children, but not me, especially. I underwent nothing. Everybody has something. But my family wants to prove, to brag how free they were. So, like some children threaten each other and see how far they can go, that the other one is afraid. So if you are afraid, it's your fear, because nobody told you about a safe world. So let's keep in mind that we talk about spirits who perhaps have lived in fear and get anxiety with things that to us is not causing anxiety. So that's why this card is ending with man, but he's protecting himself against feelings. You see, if a man says, I want no more falling in love and no more woman, because if I fall in love, she might hurt me. And I see many men get so angry. And in the industry, those women were sent. And this happened to many, but not many are so much hurt. But some are on purpose to hurt you. So if you are hurt once, to a woman sent out of the business because they always want to become famous, or they want something from the music industry, and you can choose between acting or a singer. I was interested always in both. At least not busy with it, but many others are. And they like to call me for that reason boring, because they have this attitude like they know how to behave when you are in that industry. And you look like a hooker because with every word you make in a commercial as if the product is good. So it's like sell your own product and then believe you become famous and everybody loves you and everybody like you. So I believe in art or a good voice and singer without fame. Like if you sing from your heart bottom and don't do it for money, perhaps I hear your soul. Perhaps I like it. But in that industry, you are a computer voice. So I'm not fond of it and quite boring. And so wrong art is destroy your spirit and damaging. That's all I say. A wrong book is damaging your spirit, so we need the good bread. So the church anyway speaks the truth, and I'm not going to change that. I'm many walking away from it thinking that's freedom, but you're learning a lot from the church. But some need explanation. I do understand the word, but many don't. And on the other hand, we have people like atheists explain it wrong, like they're angry about certain subjects, what Christians saying, and giving Christians what they're saying, or Christianity saying, or what the Bible is saying, a wrong name, a wrong image, because they seem to have no knowledge about it or educated about it. Absolutely wrong. So lately I hear never no more the truth about the Bible, not even on the internet. And I do know the Bible. I do know what it means, but sometimes I'm afraid, do you ever meet a church that can still explain it in the right way? Because they're losing it so heavy. Because the new modern mentality that nobody knows original what it meant, and they're giving it a different word. And so about sexuality, they're making the most fuss. And our children born in a Catholic family making a fuss, choosing witchcraft or Satanism. And sexuality in the modern days, in the music industry. And what they do secretly to other people and even in their own families, they will keep eternal a secret. If they talk about two spirits fighting each other in the spiritual world, and that's the reason why. They want their freedom and take away the freedom of others. So, this case is not solved. And their mentality is to hurt other people, and they hate Christians because one man and one woman is not their idea. And the hate against Christians and Christianity is extremely. Now, if a woman loves a man, all those feelings that are precious are not recognized in the music industry. So you live there and you deny all special feelings. That is strange. You have them or you don't. They exist or they don't. Men cannot say there are two different kinds of women. That's not. But women are treated differently, like they manage to make some women jealous. And in the industry, music industry, you can take revenge, like we get the spirit out of you, and now you can sing with your spirit. And that's why the music isn't beautiful, because it also has a bit to do with men's taste and the men's choices. And men live in a fantasy, not really what the sexual like, but what they think that sells best on television. And then you start looking with different eyes, like, well, I think the public like that, then I like that. Or the public don't like that, I start not liking it. So it has to do, since the television is there. And of course, in the old days, the attraction places, whatever they had. So I'm going to do this card reading anyway. I was in the mood because I was extremely exhausted. And many men want to live in that fantasy of the music industry and the entertainment. So they lose reality. You're not allowed to be who you are because, entertainment, you are absolutely boring. So they say the way God created us is boring. I say to them, without God, you had not even existing sexuality, but you don't do it the way God wants it. So, the conflict is not solved. The man thinks in the back of the mind, I don't become rich of that person. Many fathers are hoping, or mothers, and really busy with their children and hoping they go in the industry, in the music industry. So it's not really about sexuality, it's about training to be an entertainer. So you need makeup, you need looking good, but then all of a sudden that's getting boring. And you need new makeup, and you need new, but I'm born with it. Because they're doing for status, looking good, like wrong reasons. So you could say they do it for the money, because money is good for your status. If you sell yourself, you get a big ego. You must be so big, much better than the other person. You must be great. But why do they compare? Because they're sickening since they were little children. Raised that way, no love for the parents. They have no knowledge about such things. And with certain things, they shrink and get so afraid that I know that they were raised especially for the entertainment and the music industry and sell them. And I know they never can get out no more. And my question to America is therefore, is this a healthy way of art and talent to express? And it's the only way of our income and become rich in the most unhealthy way to say, let's kill the other people, they're so boring, that we need to look down on them. They are weak, they didn't make it as far as we did. I mean, they're so lonely and empty at the inside. If they can't see or hear themselves ever again, which people who live as us never will feel, because we ain't trained that way. We do that to them. Like, where are they with no money? Where are they with themselves if they can shop all day, or nobody's looking at them and they get no attention? Because that market is doing that on purpose. I think it's a little creepy sadness behind it also. And eventually, I think, it's getting even deeper and more sadistic, where they are going at for more attention. But is this what we as governments must do to say, oh yeah, for a little earning of money and economics? Because we people like to brag and we need our ego, because they can't love children. If a baby is born, they treasure it not one day in their life. So we get subreal, we don't get real, and can't experience reality, and start living in a strange fantasy other dimension. So they're unable to have their own opinion. So to whom are they useful and to be controlled by? Governments? Or is the government controlled? To me, it's not clear to whom's benefit eventually this is. And I do anyway this card reading. And I don't mind what it is about eventually. Just remember, this is a very complicated reading. And I do it anyway. So it's about the last card and the bull. Has it to do with bully, because bully they do for the music industry. They do it on purpose. Because you like your self-esteem. How do you get self-esteem? If they do your makeup, your hairdo, your clothes. They all say they're getting out of the ghetto. I'm telling you, we're all getting out of the ghetto, but not all getting fame. And then all of a sudden, that's never. They don't even see you, don't care for you, ignoring you. That is what they're able to do also. Because they want to force you to back for them for their money. But since I'm not afraid to die, they don't understand their own rules. That psychologically influence means you must be lonely, you must be needing desperately attention, etc. If you all don't have those ingredients, they can work on you. They don't understand why it did work on them and not on others. And to us, they make too much noise. And for them, it is an addiction they can't ever live without, and projecting it on others like, you're needing it the way I do. Admit, no. Put me in the same situation as alone, and I'm not boring or lonely or empty. At all. So I'm going to do this card reading. If you see in this what you're thinking is your own fantasy imagination, because I have no word what a thing in you is, but I think it is what the Bible calls the vicious snake. Because who am I? If you start to say it's a kind of a pimp, what pimps say for the music industry, well, you look poor. Like poor kid. It's the same as pity. That's not who I am. If you would look through the eyes of God, who am I? The one who figures that out knows who I am. It's not a game we play with the Bible word to pretend I was lost, but I'm found. This is seriously. I'm not a game like, hey, there's a Hollywood. I was lost. I was found. Come on. You did never find me. I mean, there are babies born and the parents never find their own kids. They are Christians or spiritual. Doesn't matter. To who do you mean a thing? And, oh yeah, you get rich, a big house. They found me. Whoopee. It's a game they play. They thinking in the industry, in their fantasy, if I'm exhausted, she cried. Yeah, she's emotional. She can sing a song now. We can put her on the camera. And I've seen this with others, how it works. I knew this, how this is working. And I started doing my research. So if you can't sing, they're working against you, those spirits. And if the spirits make you sing, you are a robot. It ain't your soul. And they're making you addiction to yourself. It's what the modern world says, calling narcissist. So if you're addicted, you cooperate. That's why they want you to be addicted. Even to your own self. And you're looking in the mirror, you're getting all those products, and they're earning money. So men in that world can never love a woman, because the only thing in the mind is then I don't have all these benefits. And they get them all only temporarily. Because what's behind it? If they have enough money, don't need them, they get nothing no more. Who cares for them? And perhaps they're already making a plan till the day you die. And you will do that on free will, like, I die for Jesus. I thought often about it in my church. I don't need to die for Jesus. In the first place, Jesus did die for the world, but we don't need to die for Jesus. Do we have a Hollywood narcissist Jesus all of a sudden as a church? Or can I, as a Kabbalah, explain the law two different ways? But you don't recognize the devil has also its explanation, like, hi, I'm Jesus also. So, I draw the card of the bull and the emotional king. And again, the lovers. Whatever they're drawn on this card. And the real meaning. In the music industry, they're forcing you to have no feelings so they can do with you as you're pleasing. Like you flirt and you attract others, people think, hey, I like to flirt. So think about that. Now you think, then they get them on the television and draw the people that fall in love with them, and that's not all the people. So many people think, that's another person on television, but they draw those who fall in love with them. So Jesus would wait till the people love him. Think about it. For God's out-chosen people and the selection, we know this is very romantically, and where some people are, but is this the right way to do it? I wonder. I think the knowledge exists, but I wonder if you can do it right and wrong. So, and here's the server. He is willing to serve. I don't know if he should be happy with it. I have a problem with it. They start to say in the church virtues. And if you believe all that, they start in your child dream like virtues, holiness, and they end with vices and lose your innocence. I'm not going deeper into it. Here is the Knight of Pentacles. Again, all the cards are just about Pentacles, and that's money. And let me see. I got this one. I think it's two rings bonded together, but I have no clue what this is. It could be anything. So I don't care what it is. It's connecting two different worlds. And this one, this guy says, that's a Pinocchio pretending being social for the good care. That's what I think also. It's all only about pretending good causes, giving themselves a good image, but they can't care at all. You could say the bull, they call it a holy symbol, but it could be also about money. And that gives God a bad name, as the Bible says. Why do you give God a bad name? This is 10 wands. It's the same card as complete power. It went too far. And that says it also. I leave it up to that. And if somebody wants to explain something, I'll discuss that in another video. But I leave it up right now up to this, because I know enough and I like to make another video about another subject. But thanks for watching. I see you next time.